Welcome back, everybody. It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. I'm doing another mock draft for you guys on the Sleeper platform again, and for this one I'll be doing a 14-team half PPR draft. I'll be picking from the 7th spot. We've got 2 flex spots, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, standard 1 quarterback, 1 tight end league with 6 bench spots, I believe. So should be fun. Always fun to sort of look and see how different these teams end up being when we're in like 14-team leagues versus 10-team leagues. I'll try and touch on how I would sort of approach things a little bit differently if we're in larger leagues as well, and just sort of give you guys my thought process as we go through it. And then, of course, if you guys have any comments or questions, love hearing your feedback, so let me know in the comments below. If you guys want to do some live mock drafts, maybe we can do some live mock drafts with some of you guys at some point. I'll try and get some of those going maybe as soon as next week. And going to keep putting out a lot of content. We're going to go over my updated tier list for each position next week, so that's going to be the focus of next week, and really try and get you guys ready for actual draft season. But I'll try and do more mocks and all that as well, and hopefully you guys enjoy this one. So yeah, with that, let's just get the draft started here. Getting things started here, picking from the 7th spot here, we're probably looking at getting someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown with pick 7. That is insane that we just got Tyreek Hill at pick 7. If you guys watched my last mock draft, it was a 10-team PPR or half PPR draft. I was picking from the 1 spot, and I took Tyreek Hill because of my concerns with Christian McCaffrey's calf injury. Getting Tyreek Hill at 1-7 is just insane. So now we're coming around here. So we're on the clock. We saw a lot of running backs and wide receivers go. By ADP, the next best pick here would be Josh Allen. And that's certainly not how I'm going to approach this. I don't want to be in a spot where I'm getting to the 35th pick in the draft and I don't have a running back on my roster yet. As much as I like Josh Allen, as much as I like those top tier tight ends and all that, it's just tough to justify when you get into this point in the draft, especially in these larger leagues, because the positional drop off at other positions is so large as well that it makes a lot of sense to prioritize quarterback and tight end in smaller leagues and sort of not be as ambitious about it in smaller, larger leagues. So I'll be taking my top running back on the board here. It's going to be Derrick Henry. Love starting this draft here with Tyreek and Derrick Henry. And if a guy like Josh Allen or something were to make it to us in round 3, I would consider it, but I wouldn't expect that to happen. We're going to see a lot of wide receivers go here. Jalen Hurts might make... Okay, so Hurts there. That's an option. We'll keep that in mind. So obviously we're up next 15 picks from now, so we have to understand that there's really not a whole lot of ADP game we can play. Getting Jalen Hurts would be the best value on the board. It was funny to see Mahomes go ahead of him. If we look at the running back position, we're looking at guys like James Cook, Rachaad White. Those guys are perfectly fine, but we'll be picking at 4.8 later. So that's pick 50. So we're probably in line to still get a really good running back with that next pick. I don't feel like I need to go there. At wide receiver, not a huge fan of guys like DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Metcalf. Or I actually do like DJ Moore quite a bit, so that's in consideration. Obviously, Metcalf's an option. Cooper Kupp is certainly an option as well. We could try to play the ADP game, but I don't think he'll make it back to us. So he's in consideration, especially with the news of Puka Nacua being a little bit banged up. We could just see another season of Cooper Kupp being awesome. At tight end, there's Trey McBride. I'm not going to take him here, but if he makes it to us in round 4, I'll absolutely go there. So for me, it's between Jalen Hurts and Cooper Kupp, and honestly, it's really tough, but I feel like Jalen Hurts is going to be the biggest advantage here. No, I can't. I don't know. I'm not a big taking quarterbacks early guy, especially in larger leagues. At running back, I like Rachaad White a lot, but I think Alvin Kamara is just as good, so he's an option. I love James Cook, but I don't want to reach this early on him. Wow. Okay. I'm going to go DJ Moore. He's ranked as my wide receiver 13 right now. He's a guy that I think is poised for a big season. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm really excited to see the Bears actually play their starters a little bit, see what happens there. But I think DJ Moore is in line for a really good season this year. And now we've got 2 really rock-solid wide receivers in a half PPR format. That makes a lot of sense. Wow, we got James Cook to slip to us. That's an auto pick for me. So we got James Cook. We're really balanced here. We've got 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers that I'm super stoked about. So that's a really great start. And it's crazy. When you're in these larger leagues, you really start feeling how thin the draft pool gets, especially as we get further on into the draft. Look at this here. George Kittle is an option. I'm not a huge believer in drafting George Kittle in redraft just because of how boom or bust he is in Dynasty, or not Dynasty, but in Best Ball. He's obviously great because of those weekly spikes he offers you, but it's tough to get behind him in a redraft, so I don't love that option. I'm looking at the running backs here. Swift, Ramondre, Najee. I can probably get Najee maybe with my next pick. Same thing with Mostert, so I don't want to go there. At wide receiver, Christian Kirk is certainly an option, as is Jaden Reed. At tight end, I'm probably looking at taking Njoku or something later. Quarterback, Kyler is certainly in consideration, but I think we'll be looking to maybe get Jordan Love. And let's go to receiver here. I think I'm going to pair him with my next highest ranked receiver here, which is actually Jaden Reed. This is tough. Okay, at tight end, I don't love any of those options, so I won't go that. At receiver, I think it would be Jaden Reed or Calvin Ridley for me. I'm really excited about Calvin Ridley this season, actually. He's come around quite a bit for me, but that'd be a reach. I don't want to do that necessarily. Running back, wow, okay. This is tough. Not a quarterback here. At running back, I do like Najee. I like Mostert. At receiver, wow. Okay. I'm leaning Najee now, actually, but it's super tough. Our next pick, we're going to be picking 15 picks from now. I think we can still get Calvin Ridley, so if we can go Najee and then Ridley, I'll be super stoked about our start here. So I'm going to go Najee. Really fingers crossed we get Ridley. If he's not available, we're probably looking at a quarterback like Kyler or Jordan Love, so that'd be a really great start still, too. We'll see here. One thing I've noticed as well is that in these really deep leagues, it's valuable as hell to take top end running backs early on and have a lot of them, because even like your standard 12-team leagues, you're gonna run out of running backs, and when you're in these 14-team leagues, people just are going to value them a ton. So having depth later on in the season, even if you end up not necessarily starting all those guys, you can certainly get good trade value there. So we saw all the receivers we want go. Obviously not really looking at the receiver position here. Mostert's in consideration, but not something I'm super stoked about, especially because I already have 3 running backs. So I think we're just going to take Jordan Love here, one of my favorite picks right now. Locked in that quarterback spot, and we're feeling really good right here. So good start. Really happy with what we've got going so far. We're looking at the tight end for our next spot. If Njoku makes it to us, that would be absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're probably going Njoku. Deontay's an option. You guys know I love Deontay Johnson, but I can't do anything else here. Njoku's got to come off the board here. Love that start. So we've got a quarterback I'm stoked about, a tight end I'm stoked about, and we got them in round 6 and 7 despite being in a 14-team league. So that's an awesome start here. Now we're looking to really just try and build out our wide receiver room, especially. So looking at the wide receivers on the board, I'm a big fan of Jameson Williams this season. Curtis Samuel's someone I'm super stoked about. I think I can get him next pick. The reason I'm hesitant is because I really like guys like Brian Robinson right now. He's a really solid option, someone that I think we can play in our flex, and he'll be a more reliable asset for us. It's just weird going 4 running backs necessarily. We are only in a half PPR. That's an option. We're not looking at quarterback or tight end the whole rest of the draft. So for me, it's between Jameson Williams and Brian Robinson, and I honestly think I'm going to go Brian Robinson. So we're a little bit running back heavy, but I think that's okay, because at least 2 of our first 3 picks were wide receivers. That means we've at least got some top-end talent at the position, and we can backfill other than that. And on top of that, we're playing only 2 wide receivers in the starting lineup here. We've got 2 flex spots, so it's okay to be a little bit thinner on the wide receiver position. But now we've really got to start attacking wide receiver. We're going to take our highest ranked guy on the board here. It's going to be Curtis Samuel, who I'm super stoked about, and think he's going to be a really solid option for us all season. I think he's got top 30 upside of the position, and even if things don't break right, he's still just going to be manufactured touches enough that it'll be good for us in fantasy. Looking at our next pick here, again, we're not looking at anything else. Rashid Shaheed would have been awesome, but he went 1 pick ahead of us. Joshua Palmer's in consideration. He could legitimately be the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. Dontavian Wicks is an option as well, but I think I'll try and get him with the next pick. He's someone that I'm really excited about, especially because I have Jordan Love getting that stack option, especially knowing that now both Jaden Reed and Christian Watson, they're a little banged up. They're still practicing. They're fine, but they're not exactly the models of health, so it's certainly an opportunity here for Dontavian Wicks to see the field. Just take a quick peek at the running back position. Nobody gets me stoked there, and we've already got 4 solid ones, so there's no need to look there. I think we're going to take Joshua Palmer, our highest ranked receiver left, and hope we can get Dontavian Wicks with our next pick. So we're really just going to start hammering the wide receiver position the rest of this draft here. So hopefully Wicks still makes it to us. That's really nice. We'll be taking him here. That's super easy. We could look at another running back here sooner or later. We don't need to have a whole bench of wide receivers here. Now we've got 5 total receivers in the roster. Obviously we're top heavy there, but I think that's okay. I'm looking at everyone else on the board here. Jaleel McLaughlin's an interesting option. He's someone that I could see just catch a ton of passes this year, so he's certainly someone I want to consider. Tyrone Tracy, interested in him. We saw him actually be pretty involved in their preseason game yesterday. Nice to see his involvement. I think he's a good player, but we also saw Eric Gray look really awesome. We know Devin Singletary's there. It's going to be a muddy backfield in New York, and it's a bad offense, but I think there will be some value there. So I think if you're interested in Tracy, he's certainly an option. But regardless, I think Darnell Mooney is actually going to be my guy here. I think he's in line for a really big workhorse role in that offense. He's going to be there out there in 2 wide receiver sets. We just saw Rondale Moore go down with a really unfortunate injury. He's going to miss the entire year. Behind Drake London and obviously Kyle Pitts and Bijan, I think Darnell Mooney is going to be the next most important player in that offense, so he's certainly an option. At running back, I like McLaughlin, but I don't think he's someone I want to invest in too heavily. It's going to be Darnell Mooney for me here. If McLaughlin were to make it back around, I would certainly take him, but I doubt he will. He's still there, though. We got Wilson, Kate Otten, Jets defense, Ray Davis. Oh, there goes McLaughlin and Mitchell. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Tyrone Tracy's certainly an option here, as is Khalil Herbert. He could legitimately be the running back 2 in Chicago, as could Roschon Johnson. So both those guys are options here. It's nice being in these deeper leagues where we actually have to start looking at some really deep end guys. It's fun to see those options. Marvin Mims is an exciting option. He's someone that I think could take a step forward this year. I do like Jermaine Burton quite a bit, but it sounds like he's not even a lock to win the wide receiver 3 there. Demario Douglas, he's a solid guy you can play, I think, which is fine, but I'm confident enough in my flex right now that I don't feel like I need to take that. I don't see a huge ceiling for him. I think I'm going to go with Tyrone Tracy and just see if maybe he can just win that Giants running back role. I'm really just happy with this team, regardless of the fact that we ended up having this much talent on a 14-team in a 14-team league. I'm really stoked with how this draft's gone out. I think we've got a really great squad so far. Came back around to us, saw a lot of defenses go. Again, my advice to you guys, if you're drafting this early, don't draft a defense or a kicker. Draft backup running backs. You'll be okay cutting. So, for example, Roschon Johnson's great. Damian Pierce is a decent option. If Joe Mixon were to get hurt, Pierce would be the locked and loaded RB1 for the Texans. That's certainly exciting enough that you've got to consider it. Marvin Mims, I think he's a perfectly fine late round flyer, but you're not going to know enough before week 1 of the season to cut him if that happens, so he's not worth really anything here. And then Roschon Johnson's probably my next pick here. One thing I'll highlight, I obviously am not necessarily a believer that this is going to happen, but Justin Fields should at least be on our radars for fantasy. If the Steelers start Justin Fields and trade for Brandon Ayuk, they have Brandon Ayuk, George Pickens, and Pat Freiermuth with Justin Fields. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic for fantasy there. I think you could make a case for Fields ending up being like a top 5 fantasy quarterback if that happens. So just be ready for that. I think Fields is a perfectly fine late round flyer at the quarterback position if you're waiting. I think he's a decent option. I got Jordan Love, so I'm okay with it. But if I didn't get a guy like that and I needed to be confident I could maybe get a week 1 rock star, Fields is someone that I would draft and hold and see if he's going to start week 1. Because if that happens, Fields could certainly be awesome for fantasy. But regardless, here I'm going to go with Roschon, see if he can win out that RB2 role and be super involved in this Bears offense. Because he could be, I think he's good, and this should be a good Bears offense, so he could be a really good player for us. So that'll do it for the draft here. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know how you guys think I did here. We'll sum up the team here. So to start things off, we got Jordan Love at quarterback. At running back, we've got Derrick Henry and James Cook. Our starting 2 wide receivers are Tyreek Hill and DJ Moore. Our tight end is David Njoku. Our 2 flexes right now, we've got 2 running backs there in Najee Harris and Brian Robinson. Then on our bench, we went wide receiver heavy for a bit. We got Curtis Samuel, Joshua Palmer, Darnell Mooney, and then we rounded it out with 3 running backs, just some dart throws, and Tyrone Tracy, Damian Pierce, and Roschon Johnson. So I'm really happy with this team. This is actually a team I'd be really stoked about in a 14-team league. Let me know how you guys think I did, though. Also, let me know if you guys want any other draft formats done. I'm going to try and sprinkle in mock drafts. These are really fun. I'm doing them anyway. It's just practice and for fun anyway, so I might as well record them and give them to you guys and upload those. And then I'll make sure I'm uploading that full tier list, so each of those positions next week get you guys locked and loaded for your drafts. Again, I'll refer you guys to my website as well. My draft kit is there. It's completely free for you guys to download and take a look at, so I highly recommend you take a look there. If you want to make sure you don't miss any extra content, like I said, we're going to be putting out 4 videos a week the entire off season and even more potentially during the course of the regular season. Just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, that way you don't miss anything. It's going to be all free, and I'll be here all year long to help you guys win your league. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Really appreciate you guys. One final announcement. There are just a couple of spots left in the listener league or subscriber league, whatever you want to call it. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments. Email me if you want. And that way I can get you guys an invite if you guys are interested and going to be taking this seriously. So appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you with the next one. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.